Good morning, everyone. This is Cindy. Welcome to my kitchen. It's another day that's a good day for baking. So today I thought I'd whip up a batch of biscotti. Okay, so here's the recipe I'm going to use. I got it from allrecipes.com. So if you wanted to look it up there, you could. So we've got a half a cup of vegetable oil. Canola oil's fine. 1 cup of white sugar. 3.5 cups of flour. 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Remember, 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, and 1 tablespoon of almond extract. If you don't have almond extract, use vanilla extract. Use pretty much whatever extract you want to use, I guess. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start out by putting the oil, the sugar, and the extract into a big bowl to mix it, and the eggs. And I will, of course, start out by breaking the eggs and give them a quick once over, because that's how I do it. 1 egg that looks nice. 2. Now, you'll hear people tell you you're not supposed to crack them on the edge of the bowl that you're going to put them into, because there's always a risk of a bit of shell getting in. And that's very true. So I really shouldn't be doing this. I should be cracking them on the edge of the bowl that they started out in, or on the top of the counter. So do as I do, not, no, do as I say, not as I do. There, that's it. All right, 3 eggs. Wonderful. And now we'll put in the sugar. Doesn't really matter what order. I always start with the eggs. The half a cup of vegetable oil. And I have almond extract. I don't make almond extract. I buy it from my favorite spice place, Penzeys. And just like vanilla extract, I don't really measure it. I eyeball it. But, if you're not used to eyeballing it, maybe you want to measure it. Especially if you're going to do a whole tablespoon. I probably do a little less than a tablespoon. All right, so we're going to give this a nice mix up. Incidentally, this video is a request of my sister-in-law, Kelly. She tried biscotti for the first time recently and discovered that she really liked them. So I promised her a video, and maybe I'll send her some of the finished product. Won't that be fun? All right, got a good mix going. Now let's add, here's the 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to plop it right in to the bowl that has the flour. And then I'm going to add the flour mixture to the egg, sugar, oil mixture. I tend to do it in sections because I like to make sure everything is mixed well. If you wanted to just dump it all in at once, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. There. Now these are plain I don't really call them vanilla biscotti because there's no vanilla flavoring in them, but plain white biscotti. But the beautiful thing about that is you can mix in all kinds of stuff. And lots of times I will mix in the little mini chocolate chips. But it just so happens that today I don't have any mini chocolate chips. You could chop up some almonds or some hazelnuts or pecans, some kind of nut, and mix that in. But what I've done for today is in my freezer, I had some chunks of milk chocolate. Someone gave me a 3-pound milk chocolate bar. I know, wow. So I broke it up into pieces and froze a bunch of the pieces separately. Because why would I want to thaw out the whole thing at once, right? So that's what I did. I took a piece of this great big chocolate bar and I chopped it up, and there's all different size little bits. So this is going to get mixed in. Okay. I need a stronger mixing spatula, or I could use my bowl scraper. Bowl scraper is so multi-purpose. And once this chocolate is worked in, and I don't want to make biscotti chocolate, completely chocolate. There are other recipes for that. Now I'm going to take my baking sheet, which has already been prepared with some parchment paper. And I'm going to kind of make 2 sections of this. So using my bowl scraper, I'm going to separate it and pull out one section at a time. If this is feeling extra sticky, sometimes I put latex gloves on to shape it. But you want to shape it into the long strip, like you do for biscotti. It's sticky. So I press it down and I press it against the edge of the pan. Right? And then you flatten it out to maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 inches. It's personal preference. You could flatten it out more than that. It depends on how long you want your biscotti to be. They can be anywhere from 3 to 6 inches long. And then you flatten down the top. Because remember, it's got a whole tablespoon of baking powder in it. So it's definitely going to rise. Now this is going to spread out. So even if right now I made it 3 inches wide, after it bakes, it'll be wider than that. So yeah, I'm pressing it down and I'm using the edge of the baking sheet for one side. All right. And then we're going to do that for the other half. Again, we're going to press it against the side of the baking sheet. And spread it out, because it's certainly too thick right now. And you do end up playing a little bit with, the baking sheet moves around and you gotta keep pushing it back where you want it to be. But that's okay. It's not that hard to do. Now I preheated my oven to 375, and you'll see in the recipe and the instructions, which of course are in the first comment, that it's going to go in for, oh gosh, how long does it go in for? Oh, 25 to 30 minutes. But they get baked twice. So after the first bake, you take them out, you let them cool a little bit. We're going to cut them into sections, and then we're going to bake them again. The second bake is shorter. So biscotti is twice baked cookies. And this one is wider, so you'll see the difference when it comes out of the oven, that the cookies are going to be wider, the one on this side. All right, so I'm putting it in the oven now. This is what they look like, and 25 to 30 minutes, and then we're going to check on them. All right, the biscotti came out of the oven about 10 minutes ago. I wanted to give them a few minutes for cooling. I did 26 minutes in the oven on the 25 to 30 range. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut them in strips. The strips I cut are, oh, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. As you can see, these are maybe 4 inches wide. These are 5-6 inches wide. I have already turned the oven down to 325 because for the second bake, you do it at a little bit lower temperature. Go through. It doesn't take very long to go through and slice them up. I have a little bit of a plastic cutting mat underneath for the slicing, trying not to destroy the parchment paper because I'm going to reuse it. They're going back on the same tray. All right, all sliced up. Now, got to get them back onto this lovely baking sheet. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's completely doable. There. Now, for the second bake, you want to flip them on their side. And actually, the second bake requires, like I say, the oven's at 325, and you do 6 minutes on one side, and then I take them out, and I flip them, around so that the other side is down. And then I do another 6 minutes. So I'm going to do that after I get these all flipped and laid out. They obviously take up more room once they're laying flat on their sides. So I stick them in, try to squeeze them together as much as you can to make room, because you sure as heck don't want to go to a second baking sheet. But they're, the 10 minutes made them cool enough to handle without burning my hands. All right, so sometimes I take out the very ends and don't recook those. Maybe I'll nibble on one for a little bit of a snack for myself. All right, so these are going back in the oven now. 6 minutes, flip, 6 minutes, and then they'll be out. So I will come back after they're completely out and let you take a look at them. The biscotti are out of the oven. I did 6 minutes on one side. I flipped them over top to bottom and then did 6 minutes on the other side. And here they are. They've cooled down a little bit so that I can touch them. Beautiful, nice. Oops. See, now they haven't cooled enough, so they're not as firm as they should be. Another lesson to learn. Let them sit and cool longer before you start fussing with them. Shame on me. So anyway, let me pick a smaller one to show you. There, this one. You can see the little chunks of the chocolate come through. It's a nice golden brown color. It's firm on both sides. It's just the way they should be. But like we just saw, don't mess with them too much until they're completely cooled because they might break. And it's a shame if it breaks because then you might have to eat it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out some of my other videos and maybe subscribe to my channel. Look at the recipe in the first comment. Leave me comments if you have a request for something. Don't be afraid to ask me about that. And that's all for today.